Hey, everybody, this is David Skrika. So this is a little different stock chart of the day today in that we're going to be looking at, I do these private placements all the time. And obviously, mostly I do it in junior mining and small cap mining. But, something just came across, um, and it's a company I've known for a long time. Like it came across my desk that was very interesting last week. And I noticed that Newsmax, this company that I've done work for over the last 15 years, was coming public. And right away I was interested because I was like, I'm kind of sick of just doing junior mining deals. And I want to do, real company, not that junior mining aren't real companies, but you know what I'm saying? A company that has revenues, is a business, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to, list on a major exchange. So Newsmax is, of course, right now the fourth largest cable news network in the United States. It started out of a kind of like a website during the .com era. Christopher Ruddy, who is a friend of mine as well, started it in the late 90s, was obviously able to raise some money because .coms were able to raise money quite easily back then. And then he grew the company for years, for decades. And I met Chris, actually, I was at John Templeton's memorial in 2008 when I still lived in Nassau. And he ended up sitting right next to me. And then we ended up talking a lot. And I told him what I did. And actually, at that time, Newsmax was really expanding into financial newsletters. So it was kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it serendipity or like this, if you believe that everything happens for a reason or those sort of things. It was like the perfect, match at the time. And then he ended up helping me get my book, my best-selling book for myself, called The Great Super Cycle, published. I think it sold 40 to 50,000 copies. It's through Wiley, a major publisher. And I wrote a gold stock publication for them. And I still write for Financial Intelligence Report. They are actually publishing through their publishing arm, Humanix. My new book should be out in January of next year. And I may or may not write a newsletter for them, but and like I said, I've been writing Financial Intelligence Report for 15 years. And one of the guys told me I'm one of the most accurate writers on there. So maybe that's true, maybe not. So anyhow, yeah, like I said, like and I think now what I always like to see is a trend going in your direction. And I think the shift in media has now changed. We all know that most of the classic media, first of all, most of the news media tends to be liberal. Washington Post, New York Times, or in terms of media, CNN, MSNBC. Of course, Fox has always been kind of the outlier, being a more conservative outlet. So, and there is a market for these all news and outlets, and there's not really that many there. There's smaller ones like OAN, but like really, there's not really too many big guys there. And I think people are always looking for new blood, new, new opinions, et cetera. And of course, now the trust in the media is near all-time lows. Newsmax actually talks about this in some of their advertising material, that I think the media trust is down to like 30%. And of course, with the mainstream media kind of hiding Biden's mental condition, many of us knew that Biden was not doing well, probably mentally for years and years and years. And with the mainstream media sort of like putting that in the back burner until it became totally obvious during the debate that the guy basically is probably not equipped to be president at the moment, I think that just brings down more. So Newsmax, we're talking about them growing. So let's get into them themselves. So you can see they drew 10 million viewers at the RNC convention. That's their biggest week in history. Here's the article here. That the nightly convention, with 3 million viewers watching each night, such blah blah blah. Another 3.6 million went into Newsmax 2, its streaming channel, etc. So you can see 3 million plus 3.6, that's over 6.5. So, and of course, again, Newsmax is taking advantage of their live streaming channel, which I don't think really MSNBC or Fox are doing, right? Granted, you could watch Fox News over YouTube TV, but again, streaming, again, that's kind of why I changed my newsletter into this kind of video-based service, because streaming and videos and that sort of thing is where the future is. So you can see number one prime times rated week in Newsmax history, top 7 channel with total of viewers of all cable, top 5 cable channels too. And Newsmax now is being, one thing that's really causing the takeoff is that they're on all the major cable providers, and the fees they get from those providers is also why Newsmax is probably going to be profitable this year in 2024. So here's just some of the numbers with Newsmax in the last year. And again, it doesn't matter what your politics are in regards to this. you just want to be in a company that's probably on the right side, has room for more growth, and that is growing. And you can see they're number 4 in cable news now, number 7 in extended day total views from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., number 1 in engagement. And I think one thing that makes Newsmax unique, as opposed to those other 3 cable news networks, is that because this has been a website for so long, they kind of have this hardcore following who's been watching the website or reading the website for years or decades. Like it was, I haven't been to their office in probably over a decade, but it was a large website back then when I went over a decade ago, as well. So I think that's one thing. And I think that's one thing that's really helping this placement, which we'll talk about in a second, that they have this hardcore following. So then they'll also have this huge, loyal kind of subscriber investor base. So again, we can see the numbers from this time last year, the first half of last year to the first half of this year, that 36% they're up all day, 30% daytime, 53% access, and up 41% in prime time. And that's on top of, they had pretty good growth numbers last year in 2023. So that's growth on top of growth. And you can see they're really outperforming. I think the other markets are kind of saturated. Now, everyone's going to be up this year because it is an election year. So, but you can see they're the only one growing double digits, and their double digits is high. And they've got on a lot of larger names now. And I think too, like there are other factors at play. I think that Fox isn't maybe seen as conservative as it used to be. And I think Newsmax is seen for people that are conservatives or libertarians, like kind of that more conservative libertarian outlet. So yeah, now we're going to go into the investing part of it. So here's what I really like about it. So they're raising shares at $5,000 a share. Now they're going to roll that back. I would think it's going to be something like 1,000 for one. So if you're buying a $5 a share, they're going to raise up to 225 million and a minimum 150. Now this is up. They originally did this. They were doing 75 and they sold 50 million very quickly. So they decided to do it. And what I love about it is when I talked to the company, they told me that they have over 40,000 shareholders. So they got this huge shareholder base, like little army of shareholders. And like I said, I think this is like really getting in, kind of on the ground floor in terms of Newsmax is just a news operation right now. They do some things in health, some things in financial newsletters, but when you're a media company, look at Disney, because Disney owns ABC, obviously. Look at NBC, look at Fox. They have sports, they have entertainment, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I don't know if Newsmax ever wants to get that big, but they're definitely going to have other avenues they can expand into, especially when they have this IPO money, and especially as they continue to grow and continue to make more money. So that gives them much more growth. These other media companies are kind of saturated. One way these companies can really keep their revenues up is by major sports, but that costs them a lot of money as well. So I think Newsmax is one of the only media companies that are using the combination of, whatever cable, kind of older media, if you want to call it, and the new media, streaming, online, et cetera, and then having this unique base of viewers, investors, et cetera. I think they're one of the only companies out there that can take advantage of this. So, and also it's going to be a convertible. So you'll get a 7% dividend until you convert your stock, your convertible into stock. So that makes it unique as well, that you're going to get some kind of fixed income until this happens. So let's quickly look at the investor presentation, and you can see the convertible offering. And again, this is going to be NYSE or NASDAQ listed. And this is Q4, but I think it's going to be more like Q1, early 2025, probably January 2025. So again, I'm not going to go over every detail of the investor thing. I just want to talk about some key points. I think this is a key point, again, that the trusted media is at record lows. Again, I think this whole thing that went on with Biden and kind of covering up his health really hurt that even more. Again, you can see these are the numbers for more like last year, because this is a little older, this here right now. And again, it just shows the reach in terms of, apps, television, online, et cetera. And again, this is an easy story to tell. It's basically a fast-growing media company. They have millions and millions of followers, from everything from Facebook to Truth Social to to Instagram, et cetera. Yeah, and again, they're on all these things. They're on Fubo, Roku, all the streaming networks. Then they're on Verizon, DirecTV, et cetera. And then, they have Newsmax Money, Magazine, Health, Select. And again, like I said, I think there's expansion for growth if they do decide to get into things like sports and entertainment, et cetera. I don't know if that's, their thing, but, and also the subscription newsletter business. And I know, because I've written a newsletter, has pretty good margins as well. So selling those things online, investment newsletters, health newsletters, that's a very good business model online. And again, that's something that these larger news networks really, and media companies really don't do, So it's Human X Books. I know that because they're publishing my next book, et cetera, et cetera. So you can see here are the revenues that you can see they were about 41 million back in 2019, and now they're going to be 180 million this year. And because they're getting the licensing from the cable companies, so that's really helped. So you can see after kind of like plateauing around 135 to 150 million, that gave the big boost, and now that's allowing them to be profitable because of that extra money that they're making. Because really their expenses aren't going up a huge amount with this revenue increase. It's finally getting in all those, the cable networks and getting the fees from them. So you can see here's all the synergies of the company, et cetera, et cetera. 134 million from the TV, like I said, and then 47 million from, this is kind of the side that I work with. From this side equals 181 million. So, Greta Van Susteren, you remember she's, they've got her on the show now, and Greg Kelly, Dick Morris comes on all the time. Of course, he used to work for the Clintons. Andrew Napolitano, he used to, be mostly on Fox News. Now he's kind of moved over to Newsmax. Of course, Mike Huckabee, he ran for president a bunch of times, et cetera, et cetera. So I think I'm basically, so you can see this is the quarter first versus quarter, and you can see this year is the big push, and you can see Newsmax again this year really, really, really moving higher. And I do think they are, again, because they're viewed as a more of a true, pure conservative channel than Fox. I do think they're taking viewers from Fox, and I think Tucker Carlson leaving Fox also kind of plays into Newsmax's hands as well. So you can see their ad sales have gone from 14 to 72. Again, once you get on TV, that really helps. And their digital ad sales are up 23% as well. So, and revenues, growth ahead, blah, 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 affiliate rate per subscriber. You can see they're going to probably, obviously the license fees probably try to get to where Fox News is. So I don't want to go through the investor and ad nauseum. So like I said, there's a link which I'll send to you, but also you can kind of get around this link by talking to me. If you're interested, just write me an email, do the private placement form. I'll send it to an email, someone that they've provided, and CC you on the email. And then what you have to do with this, I guess they're being a little more due diligent than mining companies are. You have to just provide a simple statement shows you're accredited, a brokerage statement, a letter from a CPA or a lawyer, an income tax return that shows you've made 200,000 in the last 2 years. That's all you have to do to show that you're accredited, and then you're good to go. So, I'm sure that most of your accredited have $1 million in assets, and the brokerage statement will show that. A letter from a CPA from your accountant will be very simple. Take them 5 minutes to write. So that's basically it. So, and like I said, the share offering has basically doubled to tripled in price. Like I said, it will be about, I think it'll come, we'll be buying at $5. I expect it to come out higher in an IPO. That I can't really say, but I would think it'd be a few times higher, at least, to that $5 price. And as opposed to some of our problems that we've had in junior mining throughout the years, this is going to be liquid. It's going to be listed on a major exchange. So I'll be putting my own money into this over the next few months. And I also think too, like I said, because of their kind of hardcore subscriber investor base slash, a lot of, I think media is moving conservative, and I think you're going to see a premium come into the stock because of that, because look at the premium Trump gets into his Truth Social stock. Now that's a bit of a meme stock, but again, it's because of, his rabid following, etc. And I think Newsmax will get a bit of that, so they'll be able to trade at a premium when it comes out. So just tell me, like I said, this is a fast-growing company that's profitable. So and not a lot of IPOs, especially in media or tech, tend to be profitable. So I'll leave it at that. And this is a company that's been around for 25 years, basically, too. So that's another thing too. This is not just some new startup that's pie in the sky. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'll send the information. You'll see the subscription agreement. You'll see a bunch of the things below, the link to the subscription website that I just showed you. You'll see all these things below this video on the website. When you watch, if you're watching this on YouTube, just click on the link to my website that I have here, and please email me. This is the most important part. Please email me at addictedtoprofits@hotmail.com so I can get you in touch with the person to make this process of doing the IPO a lot easier. So thank you very much. And I hope everybody's good. And yeah, this is kind of an exciting new opportunity.